Don't you fret. Step by step, we're climbing through. What you face can't break.
Okay, y'all, we here now. If you ain't seen me in a while, you know, it's your boy. I'm back at it right here. It's your boy Matt Forte, Forte the Giant, man. Y'all already know, man. I had to really get some things together so we could be right here and, you know, kind of refocus and all that. But this right here is Let's Deal With That. You know, you could probably see the name on the screen right there. This is a podcast, you know, not my podcast, but it's something that I'm affiliated with. And obviously I'm setting it off, you know, so it's only right that I bless it the right way, you know. So you see the name, Let's Deal With That. It's basically going to be about a lot of different topics, you know, stuff that might be dear to you, the person that's speaking, whether that be myself or whoever the guest may be. It's going to be topics that are you know, heartfelt and dear to them, you know, stuff that they're passionate about. You know, and a lot of times, you know, it's all about energy, and we exchange and transfer energy all the time. You know, so a lot of stuff that you may be going through, or that person that's speaking to you on this platform, you might be dealing with the same problems or the same issues, or it might be just something that, you know, might give you that light bulb moment, like, oh man, this is something real. You know, so that's how we gonna bring it. You know, it's unfiltered. You know, it's raw, just like that. You know, this is literally no edits, no takes. I'm literally just going off the top of my mind. You know, that's how we're crafting right here. You know, so it's basically stuff that how I you know, points that I want to get across. You know, that's how we coming, and you know, you guys will be able to, you know, make sure you follow Let's Deal With That on Instagram, TikTok, all the platforms. And it's an open platform, so it's the ability for you guys to chime in and give your 2 cents, as they say. We just gonna keep it real like that, and you know, it's something that we can all be laid back, and you know, no judgment zone, you know, right here, because we all got issues. You know, like they say, life be life, and you know, everybody got trials and tribulations, stuff like that. You know, so you know, we just here so we get to work, and a lot of y'all that know me from my music past, you know, being with the Ill Beings in the past, and then, you know, venturing on a solo career, and, you know, did a lot of songwriting and stuff like that. So in the while I was doing all of that, I was also acquiring different skill sets. You know, I believe that, and I'm a firm believer that, you know, to be successful, you have to really try to acquire all the necessary skill sets that it takes to be not only relevant, but I guess just if you want to be successful, you have to master something, you know, and a lot of times you have to master a multitude of things, you know. So with me, I was always a sponge, you know. I wasn't just in the studio just recording, you know, music. You know, the engineers where these studios, because back in the day, man, I mean, a studio cost some bread. Now, I mean, you got studios now. A lot of y'all have studios in house, you know, things like that or whatever. It's very easy because of technology to, you know, create, you know, whether that's rapping, singing, any type of music, you know, doing screenplays or short films, you know, which something I'm working on. So, you know, y'all stay tuned. But, you know, I feel like when you're working on something that you know, are truly passionate about, or something that you truly believe in, you know, you really have to lock in. You really have to focus. And, you know, in this era that we live in of social media, that can become real difficult. You know, it can really become real difficult because, you know, you have those individuals that, you know, will post their whole life on Facebook and social media. You know I've been a victim of doing that, or guilty of doing that. You know, for a brief period of time, I had to get my mind right and realize, okay, you know, everything ain't for the world to see. Everything ain't for the world to judge. You know, you have to be able to figure out, you know, what that is or what that isn't, you know, when it comes to you, you know, because we're all different. So everybody's going to have a different, you know, situation or something like that, where as far as, okay, this is something I don't want people to see, or this is something I want people to see. So with me, if you know me, when it comes to the music, I'm out there, you know, I'm real good around people. I value my peace, you know, and at home I try to make myself as comfortable. That's my comfort zone, you know. So everything I like to do or I love to do is right there. I got my dogs, I love them. I got my studio stuff. I love that. I love to create. I love to craft. Whether that be video editing or creating something like that, or something in the lab, recording. And so if I wanted to be successful at any of that stuff, I had to really master it. I had to really study it, be a student of it. And again, we live in an era today where technology makes it very easy, or it's much more accessible to just the average Joe. Not saying I'm an average Joe, because I'm far from average. You know what I'm saying? And if you get to know me, you'll realize that real soon. You know what I'm saying? Because just how I carry myself, and just over the years, the amount of information I've been able to acquire. This is like, I got a master's in this. You know what I'm saying? So well, with all of that, just everything that I've learned, the people that I've met and been able to network with, it still gets very difficult to navigate that, and we all are different, but me, when it comes to social media, I'm the type of person that, well, I'm not here to try to impress anybody. I'm not caught up in the hype or anything like that. Everything is just is how I present it. And I work hard to try to make sure if I bring something to the table, if I present something, it's going to be to the point where it's okay. Yeah, this person, you could tell, you could tell the passion in it that I had based on how I cooked it up. So now, man, it's with social media, it's difficult, man, because, and I know a lot of you guys, and gals, women, men alike, we all have different issues that we're going to encounter, and so for me, it's really pleasing people, and trying to set boundaries. Setting boundaries, and that's really what this first segment right here is about, is setting boundaries and really sticking to your guns when it comes to that, because it can be so hard, especially when it comes to your friends, family, people that have known you for decades, grown up with you, stuff like that. It's imperative. That means vastly important. It's very important for you to establish those boundaries, from the beginning. And this can go for business. If you're in the workforce, this can go for relationships, anything like that. You know what I'm saying? This is not something that's color coded one way. It can really apply to a vast amount of different scenarios. You know what I'm saying? So with me, I really had to work hard at trying to set these boundaries. And let me tell y'all, I was very unsuccessful at that. Very. Like, I'm terrible. Like, I'm terrible. I'm terrible at it. So, and that's why we here. That's why I'm here, presenting that to y'all. You know what I'm saying? This, because I love pleasing people. Pause. Yeah, I definitely got to say pause on that, so, because I don't want nobody to get that misconstrued. You know what I'm saying? This is, I like people to, I want to make sure people are happy. When I'm delivering a business or something like that to anybody, I want to make sure that, that person or that individual gets what they paid for, number one. And I want it to be something that also brings in more business, obviously, and that can go with anything. If you're in a relationship, you want to put your best foot forward. I mean, most people do. I mean, you got some crazy people out here these days, so that could be different depending on the person that you encounter. But we just keeping it on just a business standpoint, and stuff that's relative to me. A lot of times, I would post stuff, and sometimes, like they say, social media is only probably about 5-10% of people's real life, and for some people, it's not even 1%. But it's just like really a peek into that person's life, and so sometimes, with me, I like doing stuff on a big level. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never been the type to try to, do stuff, or do things, on a small scale. If I'm gonna do something, I try to do it on a grand scale, if at all possible, depending on what the budget is. And if the budget ain't that, if the budget ain't that, I'm gonna make sure it's that. I'm gonna wait out, or I'm gonna take my time until that budget is that. You know what I'm saying? So, because the stuff that's in my mind, when it comes to crafting and creating is, man, that's $1 million. You need $1 million budget, and everybody ain't got that to spend on no visuals or something like that. I ain't got that to spend on no visuals. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I learned how to do everything, just so I could cut corners. You know what I'm saying? Without cutting quality. You know what I'm saying? I'm able to deliver top quality. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saving dollars. So even with all of that, it became so draining and so hard because I would post something and then as soon as I post something, it's just like I get bombarded by messages, calls, emails, people I ain't spoke to in eons. They hitting me up, asking for favors or money or just, it might be something, but they not really saying what it is at that time because they just trying to just, bring me on in or whatever, and it's just like, I get high anxiety about stuff like that. Like the anxiety is real, y'all. Like anybody out here that's dealt with anxiety, go ahead and like this video right here. Throw a comment on here. Let us know, what gives you the most anxiety, and it could be something. It could be something simple, But for me, man, that gives me the most anxiety. That and like being on the phone. Anybody that know me know I'm not really a phone person. Like I could literally if I break my phone, and I've done this. This is no embellishment at all. I could break my phone, and I've broken my phone and just kept it off for 6 months. I'm like, okay, I'll just get me another phone because I'm really not a phone person. I really can't stand the phone because it's a lot of associated anxiety with that. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I could post something, then boom, I'm getting calls, and it's people, they gonna want something. You know what I'm saying? That's my thought process before I even speak to that person. And it's like, I don't want to be that way. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to think that, because, you can miss out on business opportunities or, whatever. You don't want to be like that way. So me telling you guys that is not saying, this is how you need to be. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. You need to make sure that, you keep your lines of communication open to those people, individuals that deserve it. Everybody doesn't deserve your open lines of communication. So you're gonna have to determine, who that is for you, and how many people that is for you. But just know that it can be very draining, and for me, it was very draining. Like trying to appease so many people and just be there for people, man. I'm trying to tell you, it's very difficult. It's very difficult, and I still haven't mastered that. So that's me putting this out right now in this open platform because, hey, some of y'all can comment. Y'all gonna help me out. Me putting this out here might help some of y'all out because you might be like, man, yeah, I be having them same issues. Okay, well, we're gonna figure this out together then, Bob. Let's go ahead and figure this out. We can do it. We're gonna do it together. So that's one of my main things that I had to deal with, you know what I'm saying? And I still deal with, So I told myself, I'm like, okay, if I've invested so much money and so much time, let me tell y'all, your time is more valuable than anything. Anything. Your time is so valuable. Time, your relationship with God, that stuff is so important. You got to make sure that you respect your time. Because if you don't respect your time, nobody else will. Bottom line. And so you got to make sure. And again, the stuff that I'm telling you guys, I'm talking to myself. I'm literally talking to myself too. I'm giving myself a pep talk as well. That's why this thing here is called Let's Deal With That. Because we're going to deal with it. Whatever it is, whatever the issue is, whatever, we dealing with it right here, right now. We not waiting until the new year to say this is my New Year's resolution, and then New Year's come and 2 months into that you done fumble the ball on whatever that New Year's resolution is go. So we gonna deal with it. It's no timetable and no set time to say, hey, I gotta wait till this time or to do this or to make a change. Nah, we gonna fix it. We're gonna fix it together. So like I said, that's something I had to deal with, setting boundaries and all of that. That's something I I have to deal with and I have to fix so that other people will be able to to you know, interact with me or do business with me on a level that's matter of fact, I'm gonna just stop right there in that regard. What we talking about now is creating creating a or creating a way for you to be successful by not closing off stuff before it even gets a chance to occur. And what I mean by that is a lot of times, or me, like I said, I'm gonna speak personally. If I'm not answering the phone, somebody could be calling me for some type of business deal or transaction or whatever it is. And if my anxiety is just going crazy and I'm like, oh man, I don't want to answer this phone because oh man, they probably want something. Yeah, they want my time, but they're able to compensate me for my time, and they're trying to compensate me for my time. But because my anxiety is going crazy, if I don't answer that phone call right then, they might contact the next person down the line or whatever, and then I have to have even more anxiety, be like, okay, now I got to call that person back. Oh, when I'm gonna call him back? Oh, I gotta call him back, and then they're gonna be like, "Man, why you ain't pick up the phone?" I'm really causing myself mental anguish when it shouldn't be none. It's something as simple as a phone call, and I have to look at the simplicity of it and say, "Okay, this is something that's not that crazy, and I have control." You know, Anything that has to do with you directly or indirectly, you control that. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. So when it comes to how people deal with you and how they interact with you, you can't control if they disrespectful, but you can control how you receive that, and you can control what you do or do not do uh, in lieu of that disrespect that you receive. So I told y'all, I do stuff on a grand scale. It's nothing is simple, but I try to put the time into it. So I'm still trying to learn. So with that being said, me, the way I plan on approaching things now is, okay, if I'm gonna do something, this is how I'm gonna set it up. This is how I'm gonna make sure that the stuff is done. Before I go any further, real quick, I just want to give a shout out to a few of our sponsors. Definitely got to give a big up to Belly's Bunk Cakes. I'm telling you, if you ain't had one, you don't know what you're missing. But a lot of y'all gonna see what that's about real soon. Cause I mean, I would be eating one right now, but I can't be getting all bloated on the camera and all that. My stomach be all big, I'm gonna be sleepy. Stuff like that. But anyway, got to give a shout out to them. Also, they do these nutcracker things, man. Matter of fact, we talking about that. Is that something we can talk about that now, or?
Yeah, we're gonna wait, but that's a good introduction. But we'll
Yeah. So we're not going to talk about that right now. Y'all just got to stay tuned or whatever. If you tuned in, you're gonna be tuned in. So, yeah. So, but anyway, shout out to Bellies. It's really an experience. That's an experience in itself. So shout out to Bellies. Also want to give a shout out to the Aroma Lounge. That's right over there off of Capitol Boulevard. The homie Big Rose. He got okay, we're gonna edit that because I was swallowing it, pause, and it didn't come out right, so we just gonna cut that. So shout out to another one of our sponsors, B Rose at Aroma Lounge. It's definitely a spot. That's one of your nightlife spots right there. The big homie, he been holding it down for a long time when it comes to promoting out here and showing y'all how to turn up, on the grown and sexy vibe. It's a good look out there. He usually have a lot of stuff going on out there, and they definitely got the matter of fact, they showing the fight tonight. They had Canelo. Well, by the time y'all seeing this, that fight gonna be over with. But they got the Canelo. Dang, I done forgot homie's name that quick. I'm going to edit that too. Crawford. They got the Canelo versus Crawford fight. It's going down. So by the time y'all see this, we already going to know who won that right there. So, but like I said, B Rose, Aroma Lounge. They also got Jump Popping at the Loop. Shout out to our sponsors, man. They doing it real big. Shout out to another one of our sponsors, one of our big sponsors, My homie JR, Ldwt Studios. You don't know about it, get focused, get familiar. Go online, you can check them out. They on the internet, on the web. They got a website, Ldwt Studios. You know, you can check them out on social media as well. You know, for you bands that looking to find a home somewhere where you can rehearse at, Ldwt Studios is the place to be. You know, if you are somebody that's shooting visuals, like an artist, a musician, and you really want to level up your brand, Ldwt Studios is a place to go to. They can work with all genres of music, not just hip hop, not just R&B, not just country, not just gospel. All aspects of music they work with, and he's really trained in delivering a great experience for you and building your brand. So, you know, if you're really serious about your craft, make sure y'all check out Ldwt Studios. It's a lot of major things going over there. So, you know, you want to be about it. So, but let's go back, you know, to kind of just summarize what we were talking about. Again, if you're just checking in with us, make sure you like, comment, you know, subscribe to the channel. It's going to be going down. This is going to be something we're going to be doing on a regular basis. And if you didn't know what it is, let's deal with that. This is the podcast. You're going to see it on your screen again. So make sure you check that out. You feel me? But again, guys, what I wanted to say, we were just talking about setting boundaries and just being self-aware of what the reality of the situation is. You can't be too naive. You can't be too oblivious to what's going on around you and how you react to certain things. You know, you have to kind of be real with yourself. Keep it real with yourself, you know. So this is something that we're going to continue to do, and I want you guys to really go on this path with me as far as trying to, you know, learn one another, learn yourself, so that you can be a better asset to yourself. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. And really with me, again, it was a difficulty of setting boundaries and being clear about what my expectations are, being clear about what the people that I'm working with, what their expectations are, so that everybody's on the same page and things like that, you know. But a lot of times we deal with stuff the way that we're used to dealing with things, and that can either be productive or counterproductive. So, you know, just keep those things in mind, man. And like I said, this is going to be something that's going to be going on. We're going to follow up a few times with y'all. You know, feel free to drop us a comment. Like I said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. You know, we definitely appreciate it. We're appreciative, you know, and we're going to be right here, same time, same channel. You know, shout out to E-Trough Music, E-Trough Productions. Shout out to the Bullet. You know, like I said, we got a lot of things going on, so y'all just stay tuned, man.
Wake up, the sky ain't falling yet. The weight's heavy, but don't you fret. Step by step, we're climbing through. What you face can't break you. Breathing in, let the fire spark. Even shadows shine in the dark. In the dark. Let's deal with that. Let's deal with that. The storm is loud, but we'll push back. One step at a time, one crack in the wall. We rise, we don't fall. Let's deal with that. Life's a puzzle with missing pieces. Truth ain't always what it preaches. Every stumble's a secret code. Unlock it, watch the story unfold.